is 30 degrees downtown. Yeah, believe me, I told you it was going to get there. I really, really did. Thursday, February 13th. And, well, right after this, Annemarie, yes, our feature artist that we had through the breakfast show today, is joining us live from Nashville. But right now, you're right here at Galaxy. Here's Annemarie Picerno and Bad Girl.
Galaxy.
Come on, boy. School's out.
Annemarie, what we'll do is we'll play the song and introduce you at the end of the song, so that gives us a couple
the music is distorting a little bit, just so you know, through my headset, but as long as I hear you perfectly fine, that's fine.
That's
as long as
nice.
you tell me when to talk.
I'm sure you'll pick it up very, very quickly. Now, I got to admit, this is not like the regimented 12 questions that everybody asks. This is more a little relaxed, and you can have a lot of fun with this. Because I think that's the way why our fans tune in so much,
Julia.
is that we don't ask the regimented 12 questions. But through it, I will ask you some fan questions, much like how can we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that. We would love to talk about maybe getting you to come down to New Zealand and playing in front of New Zealand audiences. Maybe we could have a chat about whether you would consider doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
At the same time, we're all about promotions, anything like that, and want to know whether you've got new music coming up. Let's promote the hell out of your new albums, all that sort of thing. And don't forget, you're coming out of winter very, very shortly, so summer's coming up. We must have some tour dates and stuff like that that you're looking at. So we'll discuss all of those. At the same time, I want to talk about the Grammys and your nominations for that. And also the Josie Awards. We have quite a few Josie Award winners that we have in the family. So,
Yes.
having all of that bundled together, welcome to the Galaxy family, Annemarie.
Thank you.
It is an absolute honour to have you, and I've got to be honest with you, I've been looking forward to this ever since I first heard your music. Now, it's not easy getting an interview here at Galaxy. I don't know how the heck Barbara does it, but she gets so many bands every day. Now, you came rather vicariously via email, which virtually never happens.
Wow. You know, I'm not even sure how I got the email. Did you maybe interview my good friend D-Rock?
Oh, yes. Oh, well...
I think I might have seen his post, and that's how I learned about your station, D-Rock. Shout out D-Rock!
Yeah,
He's
we love
awesome
Yeah.
guitar player, singer, entertainer, and just all-around great person. And I've been friends with him ever since I moved to Nashville. And somebody I met through probably Josie Awards and Hollywood Howie, and we all live here. So we've been to jam nights, we've partied in clubs, we've been to the Josie Awards, all that, and he's a great guy. Been to bonfires.
Nice. Well, let's go to the desk and have some fun.
Hi, Babette.
Babette.
Yeah. We've got Cheryl, Branson's manager.
Cheryl?
Yeah.
Cheryl's with us?
Branson's
Nice.
manager.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 27 after 12 o'clock. It's 30 degrees here. downtown right now. Knew the weatherman was going to get it all wrong today with 24 degrees. He really doesn't have a clue. Thursday, February the 13th, and believe me, I'm absolutely elated right now to be in the company of Annemarie Picerno. And she just performed, of course, Bad Girl right here at Galaxy. Annemarie, are you a bad girl?
Sometimes. You know, because bad girls can be good girls and good girls can be bad, and probably a million songs have been written about bad and good, but sometimes I just like to be somewhere in between.
Well, you know, I kind of agree. I kind of like to be in the middle as well, but always room for a bad girl. It's like Jell-O.
Yeah, you know, I think people love that. You know what? If you say you're a bad girl or any other B word, besides big, I don't like being big, but I'll be bad. And, you know, I think it's not an excuse, it's just being honest, and then you don't have to make any apologies. That's the way I look at it. You say, hey, expect the worst from me sometimes, then, you know.
Well,
but overall, I'm a pretty nice person, but just like anybody, you got limits. So I think I'm kind of selective around with the people and friends that I like to hang with. I'm very selective with my music and the people that I work with my music, because that's my baby, the songs I write. And Bad Girl was definitely a fun song. It was a song that I wrote to show, I kind of had this vision of the naughty schoolgirl, of legal age, of course, but naughty schoolgirl sitting maybe in college, lusting after her college professor. I mean, who hasn't lusted over a professor or two, and maybe fallen in love with a couple teachers or had the hots for a teacher. So that was the concept of the song. But then I also, because I like writing witty lyrics, I wanted to also make sort of references and jokes about love's history and school books and films and, you know, things you had to study in class, and, you know, how it kind of opens you up. I mean, great teachers do inspire you, but somebody had to teach sex history, right? And stories of love and temptation and all those things. So I put all that into a song. You know, and kind of fantasy. The schoolgirl sitting there doodling on her test, probably drooling over the teacher. You know.
Well, I can't talk about being a schoolgirl and doing that, but I'm certainly not going to tell you about my past either. I was rather naughty as a child as well, especially in high school. So we won't say any more about that because Mrs. Edlin might be listening, actually. You never know. It is bang on 12:30, and I'm absolutely elated to be joined by Annemarie Picerno, coming out of Nashville. Now, Annemarie, we absolutely love your music. Now, I'm a little bit gun-shy here because you're well used to the stage in a number of forms, including theatre, but moreover, you're used to film and also television, which now gets a little bit more than what I've done over the years. I've sort of always done radio and have been an engineer in various forms, but never done television. Now, you enjoy not only making music, but do you have your own television show that you might be able to get the opportunity of playing your music on?
Well, I mean, yes, my background was theater and singing, and I used to write and poems and stories and songs, and so my first professional instruction was a music theater major. By the time I made it into college, that was dance, comedy, acting, directing, all those things. And as I progressed, as I call myself an entertainer, you just try and incorporate everything that you learn into your next performance. Now, sometimes, you're just going to stand there and sing, but as far as the television, I spent many years in Florida, and we had Universal Studios and Busch Gardens and Disney World, and those were some of my first professional jobs. And the actual big job I got thrown into was doing improvisational comedy at Disney World. and I worked really hard on this little 60-minute audition, and it was perfect and it was funny, but I really didn't have any improv experience. So I got thrown in very green into this comedy troupe out at Epcot Center and learned a lot. And everything that I've acquired has just kind of been progressive of, okay, so what can I do next? What can I do next? And also because it's fun and it's great to be creative and get paid for being creative, whether you're singing, whether you're dancing. I mean, it got down to the point in Florida where this is before the internet. This is before you could Google a business. I went to the Yellow Pages and I would look up entertainment agencies and call them and say, what do you do? Do you book bands? Do you book comedians? Book this? And whatever they did, they had conventions and Chamber of Commerce contacts, so they know 500 American Express people are coming into town and they want entertainment. So I would say, okay, I'll be your master of ceremonies and tell me the president of American Express that you want me to kind of grill and roast, and I'll be dressed up like Cher and I'll sing some of Cher's hits, but I'll get the audience up to participate with me on stage, and we'll do New York, and do a kick line with props and hats. And I mean, I just was like all out there. I was like, anything goes, really. And so that's kind of been my, I guess my goal is to just keep incorporating the comedy, the theater, the singing, the serious stuff, and my own personal writing into acts and shows. And somehow radio and TV came along, and you just keep going, and we call it gigging.
Yeah. Well, so do we here in New Zealand. Strange you may mention MX. I used to be a floor manager for a campaign for telemarketing on MX, and never had the kind of fun that you're having with it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's also, you're poor all the time. It's like, written a couple songs about that, sleeping on the floor and packing up my car and, eating tuna and eggs so you can't take it anymore. But something drives you, and it's definitely, I don't think you really have a choice if you have that creative gene. I'm one of the few people in my family. I have one younger sister that does sing with her husband, but she did acting and modeling in the beginning. But most of my family can't carry a tune. You don't even want to hear them sing Happy Birthday. And seriously, tone deaf, and it's like, I was the one, so they didn't really encourage, I have to say my family didn't encourage my creativity, so my teachers did. They recognized, we're talking about from third grade, being handed a ukulele and just being so thrilled to be singing Peter, Paul, and Mary and learning ukulele and running next door to play piano with this little old lady that gave me piano lessons. But besides that, everything else I had to do myself up until high school, where I got into choir and theater and speech competitions and shows, and went on to college. And, my parents were like, you're wasting your time. And, I got mad because I was like, my gosh, if I had a child that was playing violin and saxophone and singing and writing and stories and this, I would encourage them to do that. But, that's okay, because you still end up, I think any child is still going to do what they want to do. And so I'm not going to say it's been easy, but I've had some wonderful memories and moments living in houses with actors and doing dinner theater and being on cruise ships and singing in bands, and it's definitely fun. And I love being around fun, creative people. Isn't it great when you interview an artist or you're DJing radio? And it's a different mindset. We know that it's necessary. We know we have to have fun, even if it might be at our expense later on down the road, or we might be poorer than anything, but it's a necessary need. And once you start recognizing it and saying, you know what, I'm charting my own course, it's actually really, it's intriguing, because you don't know what the next project's going to be. And you meet such wonderful people.
I got to agree. You really, really do. Now, I want to talk about Love Doesn't Hurt. Tell me all about it.
Well, we all know that love does hurt. pretty much sucks most of the time. But, you know, if you're lucky to find somebody that truly loves you, they're going to accept you and lift you up even in your darkest moments or when you're having a bad day. So this actually is an older song on my Bad Girl Pop Rock EP, because that's the first EP album that I put out. And Fred was going through a very difficult divorce, and you know, we were dating, but of course he had all the X Factor things happening and all the fighting and all that stuff, and it was all about money. And I was just thinking, you know, it's really sad. You know, people meet and they love and they get along, and then something happens, and then they hate each other, and then there's all this grief, and the kids are pulled in, and I'm a child of divorce myself. So it was more kind of an exploring of, you know, obviously it had the double meaning behind saying love doesn't hurt. It's not supposed to hurt. And how we sometimes stay with people that maybe aren't good for us, right? And how really it shouldn't be effort. I mean, we do know that people that have been married for many, many years experience challenges and, you know, they work through it. But if you really love somebody, I've seen some beautiful couples and they're happy and laughing, and that's always been my envisionment of what love is. So that's kind of how that song came about.
You know, I absolutely love that. I really, really do. My wife says, wear a comfortable old shoe. I've got a lot of tongue and, well, she's got a lot of tongue and I'm the sole.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So who brings home the bacon and who fries it up in the pan?
We share that, actually. We really, really do. She's really the voice in my head. At the same time, as she said to me right now, we have 62 countries logged in, 94 cities around the world are joining us for this. So this is an absolute pleasure to be able to play here at Galaxy 107 FM, Annemarie Picerno, and Love Doesn't Hurt. Gosh, it's hot, Bart. It really, really is.
Hi, Chris Andres and Julie.
Oh, Chris.
I'm hearing a little bit of static.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was hearing, I don't know if you had a little loose wire or something. A little
Yeah,
bit
we've actually got a little bit of a problem there. Right now we're actually getting a whole heap of new equipment made for us, which might cut that out. But at the moment we've got to pull a plug and push a plug, which is like the old switchboard days.
Yeah,
Plug in,
I know
plug out.
that.
It is. It really feels quite funny. So next of all, I'm going to ask you about how we can get hold of you. Are you on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? But more.
Let's think of real quick, because I got that for you. But what, your old Galaxy 107 FM, you hadn't had a post in 2017, so your main page is the Galaxy
Me.
107 FM artist page?
Yeah,
is that the only
me,
radio
yeah.
page you have on Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we
Clear
redesigned things, unfortunately, and the old engineer. Well, we had a few problems with that, so
Will I tell the
we
truth?
replaced them into a new engineer, and he's still yet to clean up a few things from the old engineer, unfortunately. And I am telling the truth.
You
What
are,
you
because
talking
he's got the password. We don't
Yeah,
know
he
the
does.
password to get into that account
Exactly.
on Facebook. But yes, use mine, Galaxy artist page or the Galaxy group page,
Exactly.
if you're a member, please.
So by the end of this, Annemarie, you may need a stiff drink.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to stop at the store, and I'm off on Thursdays and Fridays because I work the weekends. I wanted to stop and get some ice cream and some bad junk food, but I didn't. I was like, I gotta get home, and it was raining. But I'm enjoying the next 2 days to be a PJ day, maybe do my taxes, watch some bad soap operas, just get caught up, because I really haven't been able to get caught up yet since going out to LA. So it's, I went back to work, and that I'm tired.
I love all of that except the taxes thing.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hopefully that's easy.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Gotta get it done. It's like homework. So it's like,
Oh, I hated homework.
Believe me, I know what you mean, but luckily our tax department just down the road was on fire the other day. Unfortunately, the fire brigade put it out before any good was done. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, luckily, you're not affected by the whole Australia thing, but that broke my heart.
Anyway,
A lot of things went on.
let's go back to the desk.
Let's go live.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and it is 17 away from 1 o'clock, 33 degrees. Gosh, we're climbing really, really rapidly right now. Thursday, February the 13th. Got to welcome everybody along this, watching this Facebook Live right now. Couldn't be happier to have the company, of course, coming out of Nashville, of Annemarie Picerno. And Annemarie, I absolutely have to let you know that a lot of the artists that we interview, and believe me, we interview a lot, it is hard to be able to get the time to be able to do these interviews, especially this, because we have such a big day tomorrow. It is here in New Zealand, Valentine's Day tomorrow. So I want to jump the gun and wish you a very, very happy and relaxed Valentine's Day.
Well, thank you. You know what? And happy Valentine's Day to you as well, and the listeners. You know, I got dumped right after Christmas. Somebody I was dating. I don't have a Valentine, but you know what? It's okay because, we only dated a couple months, and I hadn't dated anybody in years. I've mainly focused on my music, so I've spent many Christmases, many Thanksgivings, many holidays alone, and we're talking the last 20, 30 years. There's been times I've been on cruise ships and I couldn't go to my sister's wedding because there was nobody to replace me. I mean, she kind of popped the wedding in pretty quickly, but still, I've missed funerals, I've missed weddings. When you are an entertainer and you're on the road or you're doing a theatrical show, you usually don't have an understudy, especially if you're doing a show of your own music. You will not have anybody to replace you. So life sometimes pops up and makes you realize that even though you're so much maybe in the public eye, or you're on radio or TV or traveling, that you're actually very much alone. And I think a lot of artists know that and know that feeling, and we just resign ourselves to saying, you know what, I'm still creating, I'm still, finding my Beethoven or whatever, I always thought that some of my best works will be discovered after I'm dead and gone. That might sound morbid, but, there are some very, very famous artists, musicians that never got recognized until after they passed. And I kind of feel like that's going to be my story, but not in a bad way. It might be in a good way.
I get it. I really, really do. And in fact, person in my ear just says to me, does that make Bryan Adams the musical member of the Addams Family? Very funny, very good. But having said that, Annemarie, we absolutely have been following your career for a little while now. I can understand about, being an entertainer and not having a lot of very special people in your life. because I've been an engineer and travelled around the world myself with a number of bands. I very, very much understand where you come from.
Yeah.
And having said that as well, you know, sometimes you can be with some very famous people and you just want to go down and buy a packet of cigarettes, a loaf of bread, something like that from a local dairy, and you just can't get out of there. You get so swamped with people wanting
Well,
to
hardly
kiss you.
ever go out. You know, as far as my social, it's like, because I work, because Nashville isn't a cheap place to live, and I pay my bills. I've never asked for handouts. Sure, I've had some very wonderful people help me here and there, but I pay my bills, and then all my additional music is, I mean, money goes into making my music, and so I very selectively go out. Nashville is just jam-packed with any night of the week. You can go anywhere and see bands and wonderful, talented musicians, and many of them my friends. But a lot of times I have to make myself stay home because I budget everything to the penny to get my music in stores, and you pay for your website or pay for travel to go to this award show or hotels. And, you know, if anybody's listening, you know, out there, it would be wonderful to get an angel sponsor. That's what I'm hoping, to get to the next level of entertainment, to go on tour and quit the old day job, because I still work. You have to.
I understand. In fact, well, you know, I used to stay in a little town just away from Nashville there called Newport.
By where?
Just out of Nashville, called Newport.
Okay. I'm not sure I know where that's at, but
yeah, not too
that's
far.
south?
Not too far away. In fact, used to stay with a couple of guys who would disappear at night time and come back with glasses or jars of clear substance, and then they would sit there and just drink the stuff. Mason jars they called it.
That sounds like the derelicts that I wrote the song Discount Tobacco and Beer about. Because, you know, I've met a lot of unemployed and homeless musicians out here. Homeless, living in tents, or living back in the, you know, in my travels. And yet, it's like their idea of a good time might have been out of the mason jar or the pint of beer that they forked out their pennies and splitting a pack of cigarettes. And, you know, that's not my lifestyle. Not to say that I haven't had some good grandma's apple pie. I mean, when I'm in Tennessee, man, there's country people that make some great moonshine out here. You have one sip, you're like, woo! You know, I've been to music festivals where the strawberries are the size of your fist in the mason jar, and, you know, just wonderful things that you would never experience unless you just got down with some of these people around the bonfire. And it's amazing what different people's idea of fun is. You know, and I'm old. I'm like one or two drinks and I'm done. That's how trouble got rid, by the way. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much now. When I was younger, maybe I could drink a lot and wake up the next morning hungover and pull out the receipt and be like, oh my gosh, this is what I drank last night. But, I mean, I'm responsible. I work, I pay my bills. Whatever might be left over, that might be my little bit of fun, but there's hardly any left over. But I've had some good times, and people, some people are very happy just to, you know,
I totally understand.
Have that little nip, I guess, and once in a while it's fun. You know,
I got to let you know, being an innocent Kiwi lad, I actually thought that they were going to be polishing their car with it or something like that. I really didn't expect that they were going to drink it. But having said that, now, it could amount to a bit of trouble from time to time if you drink a little bit too much of that substance. Annemarie Picerno, tell me about...
Picerno, yeah.
Okay.
About trouble?
Sorry. Tell me about trouble.
Oh, boy. Well, you know, that song's about two consenting adults, we'll say that, consenting, that they kind of know that they're going to get in trouble by the end of the night, and they're having fun drinking and partying and laughing and dancing and flirting, and, you know, the lady knows she looks good, he knows he looks hot, there may be the attraction, and they pretty much know they're going to go home together at the end of the night. That's pretty much the song. But I wrote it in humor because you might regret people that you dated or hooked up with in the past, and like I said, I'm pretty single right now, but I think people know if they like somebody, but sometimes the circumstances or the location or lifestyles might not mesh. But for that night, you're having a great time with this person, and definitely there in this song, because I write songs from the perspective of, just so you know, and this has to do a lot with my theater background, I write songs from the perspective of the character. So, not to get away from what we're talking about, but in a songwriting aspect, a lot of people write I, and it's like, it's not about you. It's who, if you think about when you watch a theater show, you're seeing characters, you're seeing personalities, they have histories, they have certain isms and mannerisms that they do. So how come songwriters don't put that in their songs? Well, that's why I think people like some of my music, because they go, we never know what you're going to write next. Well, it's about who is the character singing the song. So the character's in trouble is, the woman knows that she got on her push-up bra and her high heels and her red lipstick, and she's looking hot, and she's wanting a good-looking man that night, and the man knows he's got his cologne on, and he's looking sharp, and the ladies are looking at him, and even though they're also enjoying each other and laughing, they already know that they're going to hook up, so they're also kind of side-glancing or, flirting with other people in the bar, because they know. They know they're going to be naughty. So that was the whole concept of the song. But when people ask, well, that is a true story, well, sure, we've all probably had some instances like that where, you kind of took a trip down the bad side, the wild side.
I had to dust off the memory banks to remember stuff like that. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Oh.
So
Yeah, it sounds like a Led Zeppelin song. Been a long time since rock and roll.
There you go, really, about that time too. It is right here, 6 minutes away from 1 o'clock, joined, of course, by Annemarie and Trouble. Oh my gosh, Barbara. How you feeling?
Good. I'm not on camera now, am I?
You're on Facebook Live.
You're on Facebook Live, but you're not on.
Oh.
Your song
Not
is
on
playing instead. Oh, look,
I gotcha.
are you about to have a cigarette?
Oh, well, I might. I might.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to.
I would love a cup of coffee, but I didn't have time to make some.
I've got one. I've got one. Believe me, I've got quite a large one.
Yeah, I love coffee.
Yeah,
You don't want to be around me in the morning without my cup of coffee.
Oh no.
I tell you.
Hi, John.
I like coffee.
That makes two of us,
Hello.
and it sounds like maybe I might fit
stained
into your
glass.
family
Hi,
because
Terry. Hi,
I can't
Terry.
sing. Well, actually, I sing tenor, or maybe 12 miles away from anybody that can hear me.
Wow.
Sounds like I should be a family member.
You can't
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah, like I swear, you don't want to hear my mom sing Happy Birthday. But,
Okay.
She
I mean,
plays
if you ever been to restaurants where the waiters sing Happy Birthday, they sound better.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. And as embarrassing as that is, it's a lot of fun, though. It really is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Gosh, Barbara, you okay? You
Yeah.
really starting to...
I know.
You know Darth Vader from Star Wars?
Yeah, you know what? I saw the first Star Wars, maybe the second, and after that I didn't see any of the sequels.
Yeah.
And I know that.
Well, in this office, Barbara is like Darth Vader with a wand here, with this devicey thing. And it's a hard hat area.
As long as it's not a probe going up your ass, you're good. Time for your colonoscopy.
Oh, look,
Now this won't hurt a bit, right?
my middle name is Mars.
My doctor, I went for my well woman check, and he asked when was my last colonoscopy. I'm like, never. And I don't care. No one's ever going to do that. I don't care. I don't care if you knock me out. It doesn't matter. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one.
Not
I really
while
do.
you're awake, anyway.
Not while you're awake.
No.
No.
We have to pass
No,
out. Yeah,
just
no.
not. Yeah.
No.
I don't care whether I'm awake or not. It's just not going to happen.
Well, if you're asleep, you wouldn't know, Grant.
If I'm asleep, I wouldn't know.
No.
So we'll do the fan question, and shall we do the 5 questions of the 50 Shades of Grey?
How's our time going?
When
All
we
good?
come
I
back
think you're
on, I'd like to
pretty
mention at least that Kenny Lee is singing that with me. The duet, Trouble.
Exactly. Now, is this...
Yeah.
Let's go back to the desk.
Yes,
I've got a
chop, chop.
question.
You're running out of time.
I am.
Under the table.
Hey, trouble again. No one's gonna pick you up under the table. Hey, trouble again.
At least I got you to pick up the tab.
There goes trouble. Big trouble.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and of course, Trouble with Annemarie there. At the same time, Kenny Lee joined you there. Now, tell me a little bit about Kenny Lee.
Oh, well, I don't discuss politics a lot. Kenny Lee did write a song for Donald Trump. I stay out of politics, but he's a great guy. He's a wonderful singer. He has that warm, rich tone, and I've known him ever since I've moved to Nashville. He's produced a lot of artists. Any artist out there listening that want to get produced, you can look up Kenny Lee. But he's been a friend over several years. So there's actually a funny story. Excuse me. There's a funny story behind the song. And I initially asked an Australian, actually he might live in Australia, but he's a New Zealand artist, to do this song with me. And I've got a little recording studio here. I did a very rough demo. A demo is just that, a demo, just to kind of show the chords, whether guitar, keyboard. And what I did was I sang the male part. She's putting red lipstick on. I tried to sound like this artist when I sang it. And then I sang the girl part on a separate track. Sent it to this artist for months. He's like, man, like you said you wanted this song. I sent him the words. He loved it. The speaking parts at the end of the song are things that actually happened to me during an outing, shall I say. So anyway, I said, I got this great idea for this song. I love it. Send it over. So I sent the demo, and then he was like, no, that's not going to work out with my album promotion, blah, blah, blah. So Kenny Lee was producing the music, and this is the one song Kenny Lee has produced for me because I've always had Bob McGilpin do all my other songs for me. So Kenny Lee's like, I have to tell you, this is after the song did really well on top 40 charts, and we got it on the first ballot for the Grammy Awards. That was this year. Yeah, this year. So he said that male singer you had on that demo was just terrible. I'm like, that wasn't a male singer, that was me. I said, just trying to sing, but it was low. It was really low for me to sing. But Kenny Lee had the perfect voice. And he definitely is traditional country with the majority of his music and the steel guitar. And I thought he did a great job. We had a lot of fun in the studio. It was easy to joke around and all that with the recording, and I think that's why it came out so great. And it was, and still is, a very popular song and helped introduce me to a lot of Australian and overseas listeners. So it did very well over in Australian charts and indie charts out here. And it was also nominated last year for a Josie Music Award for Best Musical Collaboration.
New Zealanders like your music as well, I've got to be honest with you. But when you talk about Australians, you see, New Zealanders and Australians, we kind of have this love-hate relationship. It's much like
I know.
the Americans and the Canadians, you know what I mean? It's a sports thing, really. It is.
Yeah.
Our national game here in New Zealand is actually rugby union, and, well, so is Australia, but they can't play it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those kind of relationships. So, I better move on. I'm being told by my manager here. How do we get hold of you? How do the fans get hold of you, Annemarie? Are you on Instagram? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook? But more importantly, being the modern day database for your fans these days, do you respond?
I do my very best, and I work so much that when I'm running out for bathroom break or lunch, I'm still going through the alerts on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. I'm on all those. I'm on Reverb Nation. I'm in all your music stores. So the best place to find out all the places I'm at and just click on the little icon link would be my actual website, which is www.annemariepicerno.com, and I'll spell it ANNEMARIE Picerno, PICERNO, AnnemariePicerno.com. And right at the top on the home page is my Instagram, my Twitter, my Spotify, all the external Facebook, my Facebook music page, all those things. So that's the easiest place to just connect with all the different click-throughs and find all my other pages. Because there's a million of them out there, and I might not be as active on some of the other ones, but LinkedIn and Drupal and Woozle and, I could go on and on. There's just a million of them out there.
At the same time, Annemarie, on your website, do you have a merch store?
Do I have a
merchandise store?
I have not yet merchandise, with the exception of you can download any of my songs, you can purchase them, and definitely, because it's in the plans for the future, wanting to go on tour, we'll be getting the merchandise, and I think once my album is complete, because you just heard one of the, what I'd say, traditional country songs, and Bad Girl and Love Doesn't Hurt, that was off the Pop Rock EP. But the last 7 singles have all been American roots, country, and mixes of country with pop and some blues. So, like, for example, Bonfire last year was on the Grammy First Ballot and won Best Musical Collaboration for Josie Music Awards. And that, to me, was a huge accomplishment because that song was mixing in country with the single guitar and then bringing in some other sounds and growing as an ensemble piece. And I wanted to include other independent artists on it, so I did. I asked Jimmy Parker, and I asked Donna Joe, and Lisa Coppola, Benny Pitzinger, Steve Owen, and Gene Piero. They all contributed, and it was a blessing. It was so natural the way that song was written and then got produced. So my last couple releases are all in that American roots with country. I write them all on a 35-year-old Washburn guitar, some on keys, and I like to start simple, but then as far as my vocals, I always like to kind of build it up and bring in different rounds or melodies that by the end, they all kind of circulate around in the final part of the song. So I'd say that's my style, and those songs are all going to be on an album called Songs from Nashville, because it starts from, the first one was, let me think here, rain, coming out of a very dark period, packed up my bags, all my possessions, and my cat in a car and moved out to Nashville, didn't know a soul, and coming out and wanting to get out of the light and get into the light and get out of that period and be creative again, to I don't know what love is, realizing that all the people that kept me from making my music really didn't believe in me. So I don't know what love is anymore, and I've been kicked around, beaten down, slept on the cold floor. Well, that's all true. That's came with hardly any furniture or anything, I still sleep on the floor, and still do. And because why? Because to me, I realize material things do not matter. People do. Respect matters, and going for what's in your heart matters more than a large flat screen TV or a big fancy bed or fancy furniture and material items. So in this kind of realization, then Bonfire came, where you're letting go of all your past fears and regrets, and you're collaborating and you're connecting with other people and realizing that you can't be alone, that you have to reach out, that you have to have relationships with other people, but they have to be good people. And you've got to let go of your fears and whatever pain and sorrow that you had in your past and past regrets. So those were the first three, and the fourth was Closer. That there are some people then, as we go through our journey, you travel and you become separated, and you still love them, and you're still looking at the same moon and the same stars, but you wish they were closer. But there's still a connection through nature, through our universe. And then the next song after that was Trouble, because I started having fun again. And then Discount Tobacco and Beer was about some of the questionable characters that I've met here in Nashville, that their idea of a great Friday night was pooling their change and getting a pint of beer and splitting a pack of cigarettes, something. There's got to be something more than this. But I did used to help a lot of homeless people. And, I kind of just said, this is kind of from their perspective. They could be driving in this dilapidated car or walking down the road, and a limousine with Jesus could show up and say, as the limo driver, where do you want to go? And they're not going to change because they've been without for so long that to them, going to the bright yellow sign, Discount Tobacco and Beer, has always been what made them happy, so that's what they want to do. That's really what that song was about, and it was written tongue-in-cheek and to be very playful, right, and vocally tell the story, but by the end, I also wanted to show, some people compare it to Janis Joplin, I wanted to show that, I'm going to do what I want to do, and it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. And then after that song, the most recent release we did have a cover tune come out, which will be on the album, which is tribute to the Queen of Country, Dolly Parton, and I did I'll Always Love You, my version of that song. And that's going to be released on Bongo Boy Records with other artists. Other artists are still can contribute if they want to submit and be on this album. They can send an email to submit@bongoboyrecords.com, but I released it as a single. I'll be on that album as well. That's celebrating any of Dolly Parton's songs. You can send an inquiry. And then the last song that just came out a couple weeks ago is Thank You, which really says a lot about me personally, and I'm not sure everybody realizes what that song's about, but it's my mantra that I say every morning. I had an 11-year-old car. I was beating on the dashboard because there was an electrical shortage, and the odometer wouldn't work, and the light wouldn't come on, and I kept pounding it, and every day I'd be like, thank you, God, my car is still running today. Thank you for this car. It's taken me to work. Thank you for this job. God, please help me be nice to people today because I hate my day job. Thanks for the food I had to eat. I only had eggs the last 4 days in the row. Thanks for the place I had to sleep. I'm sleeping on the floor. It doesn't matter. Thanks for my cat. Look over my sisters. Thank you for my friends. I'm praying. I'm praying for this person. I'm praying for me. I'm praying for the world because you read the news and there's so much violence. So every morning as I was driving, thank you for this, thank you for that, because I really needed to remind myself that it could be so much worse, and that really I needed to be thankful. I needed to be grateful. So it became the song that I just released, Thank You, and that's gotten a really good response too. I don't know if you've got that copy of that one, but I did have the opportunity to sing it at a showcase during Grammy events 2 weeks ago and got a great response. And I really think I'm starting to come into my own as a songwriter, just meaning I'm going to write whatever the heck I want, but it's going to be real. It's based on my life. All those songs I just mentioned are going to be put in a theatrical stage show once the album is complete. That's my bucket list. And it's going to have the story, the actors, about my journey through music and how it's pretty much saved me, you know?
Well, Annemarie, I got to be honest with you. I've been told that we don't have thank you yet, but I'm sure if you would be very, very good to us, you'd send it through to our production. But let's backtrack a whole host right now, because we covered a lot of ground right there. And Bonfire. Now,
yeah, I talk a lot.
Believe me, so do I. So I recognise a fellow talent, I've got to be honest with you. Now, with Bonfire, was it Kenny Lee that did the male vocals on that as well?
No, Kenny Lee wasn't on that song. The opening voice, many a story's been told round the bonfire. That's Benny Pitzinger. He's a storyteller, songwriter. He's a funny guy. He writes awesome music of his own. He had that nice round voice. And then the next male voice you hear singing, I've Thrown in Dreams, Emotions Fight. That's Jimmy Parker. Jimmy Parker is a very popular Nashville artist here. He writes all his music, Josie Award winner, great traditional country sing. So I invited him in, and the lady singing kind of the duet part with me through the whole lead vocal, her name's Lisa Coppola. She was on tour with Billy Joel many years ago. Not many, she's not that old, but years ago, and now she's an artist in her own right, and she does tribute acts and nostalgia shows out in New Jersey, and her own original music as well. Great friend. And then the gospel voice you hear at the end of Bonfire is Donna Joe, who goes by Donna Carroll on Facebook, and she's a awesome vocalist and very heartfelt, plays guitar, writes beautiful, beautiful music. So I asked all of them to contribute. Everybody came into the studio, and I had specific lines that in my head that I knew that they would do really well, and we just all kind of bonded and came together. And the whole idea came from Gene Piero, which actually Gene D. Piero is really his name, but he's Gene Piero on Facebook, and he's over at Hamilton Radio, New Jersey, and he had the whole idea for the song. We were talking about wanting people to connect and help each other more, and you should write a song about that called Bonfire. And he goes, I want to help people, and I want to help artists. It's burning in me. And I took that whole chat out of Facebook and put it on Notepad and moved lines around. And that song was written from a conversation that I had.
You know, we absolutely love it here at Galaxy. Here is Annemarie with Bonfire.
Many a story.
Gosh, it's very warm. It really is. Oh, lost it. Here it is. How you feeling, Annemarie?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. It's my Friday, but I'm having a good time.
Nice, nice. Well, I tell you what, we've got one more to go, which of course is Discount, and we'll have a little chat about getting you down here in New Zealand. We would love to see you play here in New Zealand, and at the same time we could work something out to be able to do a few shows in Australia as well, much basically because we like their money. We do.
I'd love to go out there and visit.
Nice.
Yeah, I've had offers, and you know, I won't talk about it much on air or anything, but right when Bonfire was written 3 years ago, I had a major accident. Well, I never really got the proper medical diagnosis of why it happened, but I think it was a combination of my neck out of alignment, my jaw from a previous car accident many, many years ago, and I was having major vertigo issues, but I didn't realize it because I've always had pain in my neck since the accident. So, but things must have been shifting, and I was working really hard. Anyway, so I would have these blackouts. I think I was just working myself to death. So I got up to go to work and thought, I feel dizzy, passed out, woke up with my face in the floor, broken nose and jaw. This is 3 years ago. And still crawled into work because I didn't want to lose my job. Well, it turned out I had a broken nose and all that, and it took 2 surgeries just to try and straighten it out. They took cartilage from my ear. I went through hell. I recorded Bonfire in the studio. I went in with a broken nose, and I was so mad because we were in the middle of that project, and I just held open my nose so I could breathe, and that's how I recorded it. Because it would have taken too long to heal. You know, that takes 6 to 8 months. I suffered for 6 to 8 months. Then I had the first surgery, and a year later I had the second. It looks better. Still have some breathing problems, but you know what? I'm a warrior. I just keep going because I'm not going to take a year or 2 off. You know, things were like moving along, so it's like I'm that spider who's smashed and that one little leg's going like this, you know. It's like, no, I still got it.
I understand. I really, really do. Believe me.
And you're getting old. You got aches and pains, but what really sucks is when you injure yourself, you know. So I thought, is this old age? And I made some changes. I made some changes, saw a chiropractor, realized I was very much out of alignment, and that can really affect your ears, your neck, your jaw, and your ears. Very complicated thing, and they actually, it's like, that boxer that just knows right where to knock somebody out. Well, that's all it took was just whatever was out of alignment. Took about 5-6 months after 2 years of the surgeries and recovering and all that stuff that I really made the connection that I wasn't in balance. So I've been doing a lot of stuff like, yoga and chiropractic and all that stuff to get straightened out.
Annemarie, let's go back to the desk.
Oh,
Okay.
back in the eye, sorry. Hang on, I've got to move up here.
You're a health hazard with that thing, Barbara. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. It is 19 after 1 o'clock, 32 degrees, gone down a degree, so we're sort of hovering around the, oh my god, it's hot stage on the heater meter. Anyway, Thursday, February 13th, and I'm very, very elated to be talking to Annemarie Picerno. Did I get that right this time?
Picerno.
Yeah. Speak Italian, you know. I'll get it one of these days, Annemarie. I really, really will.
Yeah.
Now, of course, that particular track, Bonfire, was, you have a little something to do with the 61st Grammys on this one as well. So it got quite up there in the world rankings, didn't it?
Yeah, I know people collaborate a lot, but usually a collaboration might be a duet, or it's maybe a band member gets together with another band member. This was kind of a big project. I actually wanted it to be bigger. My vision was I wanted an artist in every country to join me on it. It still can be redone, but I really wanted that massive hundreds of people, kind of We Are the World of country. But it really did get a lot of great recognition. Besides the Josie Award, I was honored. I had become a new Grammy member, and that took a lot. You had to submit so much, all your store links, your reviews, your recommendations, articles, to show that you were an active musician. And as an independent artist, very difficult to do and get accepted. And I had the support of Bongo Boy Records and Monique Grimm as an independent label. So that was great, and you submit, and I got accepted to be on the first ballot that actual Grammy members and voters could go to and vote for. Now, that to make it to the final five, sure, you're going to have to be really aware of it. It was the first time, because I was collecting and networking and making contacts and connections with people that are at that level, and it just amazed me because they're also super nice, hardworking people. They are no different than you and me, or and moving forward now, a year later, I went out to the Grammys again this year with Trouble and Discount Tobacco and Beer on the ballot, and met all those friends again, and then more and more, and you realize that if you don't ever give up, if you just keep making music, if you keep on being creative and surrounding yourself with good people, and that's what Bonfire was about, you will be successful. And yeah, are you going to win a Grammy Award? Well, maybe not this year, but I honestly think that you have to be very conscious of who you surround yourself with. And it's not being stuck up, it's not saying you're better than it, it's just surround yourself with good people, and the people that inspire you. If people, and I honestly can say that there have been times where you think, I'm giving up music, this is too hard, I'm sick of eating eggs, I'm sick of sleeping on the floor, right? I'm tired of being poor all the time. And somebody will be like, through Messenger or something, hey, are you okay? Or, hey, I want to help you with your hotel so you can get out to the Grammy Awards, or I want to sponsor you on this, or just, hey, I was thinking about you today. And so many people, I try and do that. I pick up the phone. I prefer calling people, and I'm not much into texting, and back to, we need that human connection. And so great people, if you haven't spoken in a while, pick up the phone. If you have these friends in your life, thank them, tell them you love them. You never know when your day might come, or they may not be around anymore. And meet some of these people personally, and be open to the possibility that whatever you dream of, you just might achieve. But you got to dream it. So I would say the last couple years have been really inspiring for me.
I got to let you know something, and believe me, this is rather amusing. Was talking to a neighbour of mine here in town not so long ago, and he says, Grant, do you think that mailedom themselves has now been replaced by the cell phone? He says, I rarely get a chance to talk to my wife personally anymore, but I've fallen in love with her again all over Facebook.
I got jokes about that, and I have done some comedy and theater shows, but I just think a comedian would, a stand-up comic would have a great time with this one, because basically you're right. Before the internet, what did people do? Before cell phones and texting and sexting, what did people do? Before Messenger, before any social media, did you drive by your neighbor's house and they had a big sign stuck on a pole in the front yard that said, I'm in a relationship? Or did they post a big Polaroid on their front lawn saying, here's a picture of our meatloaf we had for dinner tonight, right? It's like, everybody, I say it's kind of narcissistic in a way. We're artists, but yet we're private people, or maybe some of us don't want to put all our personal life out there, and yet you're pressured. You've got to put your music and promotion and stuff out on social media if anybody's going to know about you, unless in the old days, before the internet, if you were an artist, you walked around with your vinyl album and you visited radio stations in person, so you at least met the DJs and the programmers in person and pitched them your music, and maybe they played your music, and stars, became stars because, like Elvis or the Beatles, they were putting on these wonderful concerts, and people saw them live and felt that magnetic, energy and the music. And so, but then again, you and I might not be sitting here talking without the beauty of social media. But I do joke about it, saying, neighbors you used to go next door to your neighbor and talk to them, right? Have coffee.
I remember the days when my parents used to complain about party lines on the telephone back in the day. Phone would ring, 5 houses would answer the same phone call.
I know. And now you could just have a radio show. I don't know if you've ever had more than one person on the line. I remember, and he passed away, bless his heart, his name was George Hagelman out of South Africa, his Fame Music Radio. He passed away a couple of years back, and every New Year's they would try and get in as many callers in on the line as possible. The lines would be loaded with more than one person all on the line, and it was so much fun. But that's basically a party line, and I just don't think there's a substitute through electronics. So a lot of people do. They become sex addicts, right? They're on social media or texting, or I'm an Instagram star. It's like, we don't even know who the hell you are, lady, right? But they're a model. I'm an Instagram model, I still try and make the real connection. But sometimes you do. You can, on Facebook, it comes, what's on your mind? Some days you're like, you do feel pressure, right? It's like, oh, do I really have to? But there's silly stuff on Facebook. There's serious stuff on Facebook. There's, here's my bloody finger, right? It's like, oh, come on now. Really? Do you have to? And then there's some really wonderful stuff on Facebook and people. And there are people on Facebook that I've never even done a video chat with, that I have just chatted with, that have commented or messaged through Facebook Messenger or other sites that I feel like I really know them and they're great quality people. And then, and then you meet them and they're exactly like what you thought. So I think that's very cool about the explosion of the internet and social media, and that our worlds are so much bigger than maybe they were before, when it was just your neighborhood or how far you could travel and what you saw on television. So I think there's a plus and minus to it all.
Exactly, I really do too. And at the same time, it opens up opportunities that we have yet to discover. Mainly, we are now looking outside of our planet and looking at other planets that maybe we might be able to, control, inhabit, something like that.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to accept a friend request from an alien. Not quite yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be rather novel, actually, to be quite honest with you. But they look for that Goldilocks zone, don't they? Where, it's just right for human habitation. Got to ask you, though, when they find that particular one, do you think they've got a name in mind for it, or is it already named?
I wouldn't know,
You kind of hope that they don't call it the sequel.
Yeah. I just hope I make it to heaven,
Yeah, believe me, don't we all? We really hope that. But having said that,
I hope with the global warming and all that, people don't ruin heaven. And I mean that seriously. I really do. The litter bugs. I drive to work sometimes, and I just can't believe people throw McDonald's bags and things out their window. It's like, are you a closet eater? Are you trying to hide the evidence? Or are you just a, slob, uncaring person that doesn't care about the planet? This is like beautiful forest road, and you see lines and lines, and then it gets cleaned up, and it's already another week later. It's like, why? Why do people do that? This is your environment, your kids, and don't you see what's happening to our environment and our nature and all that? So anyway, I hope heaven's still there. I think it will be, because I want to eat chocolate and pizza and watch Young and Restless and play music to adoring fans and be happy and
Young and the Restless. Haven't watched Young and the Restless for a long time. Oh my
my
goodness.
mindless entertainment.
Yeah, fair enough too. I'm kind of a, 9 to 5 something kind of guy myself. So
They're actually very smart. I watch it for a number of reasons. There are some great lines that give me great song ideas. I turn the captions on. It's like, oh, they said this, and how the actors are so skilled to even say bad lines sometimes. And then I look at the lighting and the video, and I also I listen to the background music. Believe it or not, if you're a songwriter, they say pay attention to commercials, pay attention to shows, and what songs make it. So if you're interested in getting into publishing and licensing, it's one of the reasons why I watch it. But I don't have a TV, so I boot up that show, on the internet, and I watch it occasionally and pay attention to those things.
now there's a good segue because right here in New Zealand right now, I think television and radio, the government institutions here in New Zealand, are starting to amalgamate. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a backstory here. One of the TV stations currently is up for sale because it can't raise enough money through the advertising. It's all going to the internet entertainment's advertising these days.
Yep.
Now, do you think, literally, that, now, I've got to be honest with you, people back in the day said that radio was a thing of the past, television was going to take over, there will never be another radio station, da-da-da-da-da. Strangely enough, we're here. But we're still, in fact, we're doing it on the internet as we speak right now, so we've adapted, kind of. Now, do you think that television is feeling threatened these days by the entertainments that is available everywhere in the world to the common person, so they don't need to go and switch into TV and get told what to watch?
Well, I mean, as far as the actual merchandise, and actual television is still going to sell because people love to stream to their large screen TVs, and people are going to Roku and cable and all those things. For me, I can't afford it. But television, if they're smart, and many of them still do, even the news stations, they'll still have links to video channel, or they'll stream to YouTube or even Instagram, or stream to Facebook Live. So I think many of them are actually getting it, that if you want to keep the numbers, then you've got to, something new comes out, it's a new satellite dish with the pool and a hot tub, that whatever, whatever comes out, that you better learn how it works and get involved with it. And then everybody gets to a certain comfort level too, right? Because some things, okay, do I really need to be on TikTok? Do you know that they say that 30 seconds of music, and that 30 seconds of music is actually far more important than now a full song that an artist might produce, because of the commercial aspect and how TikTok has got whatever millions of viewers and streams and whatever. And so you do have to kind of check it out and see, well, how can I use that? But sometimes I feel sorry for old people because, like, hey, you ever go to the doctor, I need to make an appointment. Well, you need to go online, register your information online. And it's like, what if you can't do that? What if you couldn't afford the internet? What if you couldn't? And so that's where I battle a lot of times every day. It's like, how have they become so impersonal? I actually think it would be a great sci-fi movie where, everything that somebody tried to do was either computer voice or electronic, and how people start getting that they can't function in the world because everything's automated and there's no humans doing anything anymore, right? And I'm sure there's been some movies about it, but just think about it, how we've exploded everything from cell phones to, automatic driven cars to internet to remote controls to security cameras to face recognition to, it just goes on and on and on. So, if you got, I don't think television will ever completely go away because it's a visual media. And if you're a musician, you've got to have music videos, you got to have visual media. People need to be stimulated visually as well as, and so gone are the days of sitting listening to Dick Clark Top 40 on your radio, right? And we used to record it on cassette tape as kids. Oh, the Top 40's on. We would listen every Saturday and listen to that. So, and television's the next best thing. If you can't see it live, if you can't afford to go see a concert or a tour or somebody perform live. But a lot of people are going to that, and then television, that actual physical TV, you better be hooked into other internet and streaming mediums, is my opinion, if you're going to be out there. I don't know how else they're going to deliver music and movies, and what is it going to come to a microchip to us, or is it going to be beamed into our skull and we're not going to need any apparatus? It's just like, oh, okay, you're going to have this chip in your brain and you'll get to watch Young and Restless 24/7 and we're going to bill your bank account. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, at some point, it's just, okay, I'll shut up in this one point, but remember MTV Unplugged? I don't know if you ever had that here, but, okay, so you got, I don't know, Aerosmith, or Guns N' Roses, or MTV Unplugged, oh my gosh, Axl Rose, or so-and-so, they took a guitar, and they just played guitar, and they sang a song, oh my God, right? Oh, wow, how original. No, that's how it all started in dumbasses, right? Well, let's take away all the synchronizing and the auto-tune and, all the fancy stuff and bring it down to... So every time I think that people that hate rap and R&B and all those things, eventually it's going to get to a point of oversaturation, is my point. And we're going to want to strip back. We're going to strip it back. We're going to strip it back, right? And somebody's going to pull out just a guitar. They're just going to sing with their voice, and people are going to be, oh my gosh, that's incredible, right?
Didn't they?
It reminds us where it came from.
Didn't they try that a few years ago? They called it Unplugged. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got all complicated and, well, yeah, we're going to go back again. It's like the old clothing my mother used to wear that I see young ladies wearing today, you know what I mean? I've actually had my mother say, I had something
peel
like...
back the thong? Is that what you're saying? But...
Well, yeah, okay, if we want to go with thong. Did you know that Australians use, they're called flip-flops in Australia. You would call them a flip-flop. In Australia, it's called a thong. So I've always wondered why women would want to wear one of those.
I don't know, but flip-flops up my behind wouldn't be comfortable either. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm not much of a fashion. When it comes to fashion, I'm all about comfort. I got them over there, but I got a pair of glitter high-top sneakers that I just love. When I went to the Grammy Awards, you have to walk and run around a lot of places, and I didn't want to wear high heels. I wore glitter black high tops under my long dress, and nobody noticed, and I was comfortable and scooting around all the places and blocks we had to walk, and to this convention center and this party and whatever. I'm all about the comfort. I like the bling, I like the glitter, but you won't, I don't need fancy stuff. And that's what I was going to mention, too, about my music is when we're stripping it down, when I write my music, and even in the mixing or the production, I want people to hear the real instruments. And a lot of people have said, you know what, you really do sound, what you do on your recordings, they'll hear live. I don't need auto-tune, and I don't need all this synthesized fake. It's real mandolin playing, it's real banjo, it's real dobro, it's real steel guitar, and I like it to sound like what somebody would hear if we were sitting in that room really playing it, for the most part. Yeah, like what we're going to play next, Discount Tobacco and Beer's got that electric groove and bass, but I still don't like to overprocess things. When I put your voice through some sort of weird simulator, I want people to hear what my voice sounds like. And, on most days you're going to hear that live too. If you heard me in a live performance, like, yeah, she can sing.
And
Because how many people have you heard on the radio where you see live and they're like, oh my gosh, please shut up, you know? And it's not, but they cannot reproduce what was simulated in a recording studio or in a mixing board. And I want people to hear the real thing. And I will never lip sync. I will never lip sync, ever.
you know, I absolutely have a lot of respect for that. I really, really do. Annemarie, that's going to wrap it up for us. We're going to go out with Discount Tobacco and Beer, which literally is the most requested Annemarie song here at Galaxy. It really, really is. And Climbing, it really, we get a lot of people play it. Now, we play you
Oh, that's awesome.
on a, we play you on a Sunday, we play you on a Monday, specialised shows. I play you in the breakfast show. We get so many requests for you. It has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Will you please come back when we have new music and do this again?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I do appreciate Barbara asking me to be on here. And, you know, I watched some of the interviews. I kind of knew what to expect. No surprises, but I knew it was going to be fun. And I absolutely had a great time. And I hope people will check out my music, Annemarie.com.
There you go. So, let's go out with Discount Tobacco and Beer. Don't go anywhere just yet, Annemarie. Gosh, it is warm. It really is.
Yeah, I'm sweltering.
How was that?
Yeah, that's fun. I can hear you pretty good. I hope it comes across on the Facebook Live.
Oh, believe me, it will do, it will do. And we'll send you a copy of it, a YouTube version of it.
Oh, yeah. I'll embed that on my website.
Nice.
I always put my interviews on my website, on my interviews tab, and I'll put little links to your radio station and Facebook page. You know, I do all that for, you know, unless it's not good quality. What I mean by good quality is if the sound is going, you know, I mean, it's like, or if the video is all blurpy and pixels, well then no, I'm not going to post it. But if it's good quality, absolutely. I put the audio files up there. I put people's Mixcloud up there. I think it helps us all.
Nice.
You know.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
Annemarie, we're going to have to call it here, but at the same time, I want to thank everybody that has joined us today on Galaxy 107 FM and watching Annemarie, and I'm sure she's going to be a huge, huge star in no time.
Yeah.
Shall we do the photos thing, Barbara?
Yeah.
Nice.
Want to see my kit? There's my
Yeah.
kitty.
Oh, cute kitty.
That's Boo Boo.
Oh, kitty.
She's a good girl.
Looks like my brandy I
She's a
used to
pretty
have.
girl. She's my Valentine.
Nice, nice.
Okay, everyone, we're closing off now. So,
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
yes.